What is going on, everybody? We are back with another wrestling review. This is CCW, and I am your defending pay-per-view pick'em champion. I am Nick.
Yes. Kids, don't vote with your heart, vote with your head. And I'm Joe.
And this is our Raw review. So the only reason I mentioned that is we had forgot to mention that I won the pick'em thing.
Yes, he broke the streak. I had a three.
You had a four-game win streak.
Was it
going.
four? Four pay-per-view or PLE streak.
So it is now 2-4 overall. You're winning.
Yay me. Hot dog.
I cut it in half.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't worry. AEW's coming up.
Yes, that's where you get in trouble. That's where you tend to vote with your heart a little more on there.
No, it's all head. All head.
Is it?
But I'm fantasy booking what I think would work better, and everyone else disagrees. Anyways, we're still in Perth, Australia, and Michael Cole and Wade Barrett are on commentary.
Hey, no Joe Tessitore. Hot dog.
Right?
He'll be on SmackDown probably.
It was wild to see Michael and Wade on Raw because it's been like a month. They've been exclusively on SmackDown. So we start off. Okay. So WWE spent a lot of the night choreographing the ending of this show.
Yes, they did.
They did everything in their power to let you know what was going to happen if you have been a wrestling fan for longer than 2 years.
If you're not a naive bitch, you saw this coming.
So the Vision came out. Seth called the crowd wankers, and the crowd cheered. Seth and Heyman hugged, and then Heyman kissed Seth's cheek, giving him the kiss of Judas.
Yep, kiss of death.
Which is just how it starts. At which point, Seth then kissed his bald-headed ass back on the forehead because the crowd was chanting to kiss him. It was funny, fun times.
The crowd was tolerable tonight.
They were. Seth kept talking about how everyone, according to his vision, has flourished. Because, again, choreographing how the end of the night's going to go. Basically saying it's only because of him that everyone's is doing as well as they are. And then he said that there is no one on his level. He doesn't need Reed, Breaker, or Heyman. He did it on his own. It's just that he chose them and they chose him.
Yeah, he's the only one to do it on his own. Cody needed him to finish the story. Roman needed the bloodline, but he doesn't need anybody.
Over and above all, it's not a bad segment.
No. No. It was fine.
It wasn't super long. There were a couple parts, obviously, where they let the crowd do their thing because you kind of have to, but they didn't let it get away from them, which is the important thing. But yeah, like I said, it's just setting up the rest of the night. We get one more segment with the Vision, and then we get the end of the show.
And then we get the Vision.
Yeah, the Vision, which sounds like Steiner math. So, speaking of which, I have a fun tweet to tell you guys later when we get there. I will go ahead and pull that up when you're talking about something.
What do you want me to talk about the next thing?
Well, we'll have you talk about the match. I'll cover the other backstage thing. And then, after also backstage before the match, Rusev tells Penta that it's him that should be having this match, but Rusev said he might allow this match to go the way it goes because whoever wins this match, Pierce has said he's got next. Penta then proceeded to call him a bitch. And then Dom shows up.
In Espanol.
Yeah. Dom appears in the background, and he sees that Rusev's standing there, so then he creeps away without being noticed.
Nice. The nice
Fun
touch.
times.
Speaking of nice touches, the match, Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. Dominic's great. He's mostly gimmick, but he makes it work. he took a nice bump onto the announce table off of a backdrop by Penta. But the match was a really good TV match. The highlight was the finish. Dom goes to get his belts and throws the AAA belt on the ground, distracting the timekeeper so he could take the hammer they used to ring the bell. He then goes to the ring with his other belt, drops it in the middle of the ring while I should have led off with Rusev comes down and Penta dives on him and they're on the floor. So the referee's dealing with that.
Right.
Dom gets in the ring with his Intercontinental title, drops it in the middle. Referee turns around, picks it up, goes to take it back. He gets the hammer out. Penta slides back in the ring, hits him with the hammer, hides the hammer in his boot, does the 619, does the splash, wins the match. It's very smart. Very smart by Dominique.
So
I liked it quite a bit.
So, as you guys know, I cannot stand Dom as a wrestler. As a character, I like the character work. He's really good with the character work. He's funny. He plays the annoying heel really well.
Yes, he does.
And I don't find him annoying when he's playing the annoying heel. I find it more funny than anything. However, when I start to lose it on him is in the ring. Between those ropes, for me, he's pretty trash. However, I do not mind matches like this. Penta spent most of the match on top.
Yes, he did.
And Dom was trying to fight back when he could and could not pull it off a lot of the times. And even when he would start to kind of get a little bit of an upper hand, Penta would go back to being on top. And then Dom found a way to win through lying, cheating, and stealing, like his real dad. And yeah, I've got no problem with the way he won. I cannot wait for this motherfucker to lose this title, though, so that he can go focus on being the AAA mega what the hell ever he is. But this was a fun match. And he actually did a couple cool things. Dom actually hit a really nice unaliving dive to the outside and landed into a DDT on Penta, which he's done before.
Yep.
But it's one of the few moves he does do that I actually enjoy.
Well, it's the reason they keep Dom's entire Intercontinental title run has been mostly against Lucha Libre style wrestlers.
Right.
Because that's just what he meshes well with. He's not a big enough guy to wrestle much bigger guys, right?
Right.
He can barely pull off the things he does to the guys who only weigh 190 pounds, let alone the guys who weigh like 240.
Right.
So he's limited. So he relies a lot on his character work.
My only problem with this match, and this isn't with this match specifically, it's my problem with Penta in WWE. Dom kicked out of what should be Penta's finisher, in my opinion.
Yeah, he kicked out of the Penta drive. Well, they changed his finisher to the Destroyer.
I know, but the Destroyer sucks in comparison to me. It just does.
I agree. The Destroyer is overused.
I think the Destroyer is a good finisher to use on somebody that he can't pick up. Don't get me wrong. Like, if he's wrestling Rusev, I don't expect him to hit the Penta driver on Rusev, right? At that point,
I don't think he's hitting the Destroyer on Rusev.
It'd be goofy looking.
Yeah, I don't think Rusev's doing a backflip.
But I just think the Penta driver is a better move. I always have. I don't mind the Mexican Destroyer. Don't get me wrong. I would like it if, less people did the Destroyer, period.
Yeah. I remember when it was just Petey Williams and the world was right.
No.
Now it's the entire roster of AEW, every Lucha Libre, every indie guy, and half the WWE roster.
Even the guy that used to run TNA.
Jeff Jarrett?
No, I'm talking about the recent one. He was the most recent guy that left.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna know that.
It is.
My TNA days end in like 2008.
Scott D'Amore.
I have never seen Scott D'Amore do a destroyer.
He did. It was within the last couple months that he was there. He got thrown into a match for whatever reason, and he did the fucking thing. And I was like, that was the moment that I got tired of the move. When he did it, I was like, I can't take this move seriously.
That was your breaking point.
I just watched 350 plus pound fucking Scott D'Amore. That might be an exaggeration on his weight. It might not be. I don't know.
Well, technically, all he had to do was kind of just fall forward. The guy that did the move, or that was taking the move, did the rest.
There you go.
Oh no! What do you have video of it?
Uh-huh.
Oh no!
Oh, he did it like 16 years ago as a regular move for him. Back when he was a wrestler. That makes me even more sick.
That the move's been around that long, or that he did it then too?
No, that he's been doing it for that long. He was a big guy back then too. Nope. I don't need you to add volume. There you go. There's a. You don't have to watch it now. It's just so you have it queued up for later.
His face in the thumbnail is killing me.
Anyways, yeah, no. It was a good match though. I don't have any problems with the match. It almost made my match of the night. Almost. Backstage, Knight says that he's going to win and he will go on to beat Seth, and then Punk shows up and says that Knight isn't going to pin Punk tonight and he's never going to be champ. And then Knight said he's going to be champ. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. Now he did it in his own LA Knight way, of course. There was more said, but I am paraphrasing. Asuka.
Yeah, that was pretty much the gist of it.
Asuka is mad at Sane for losing and says to repair Asuka's honor, she will face Rhea Ripley tonight. And Sane then tries to show her this bruise that she got for trying to help Asuka, and then Asuka slapped the shit out of her. And that was that one. And this leads to our second match of the night, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, which actually I think ended up being better than the tag match. I just enjoy
the tag match on this show. Yes.
No, I think it was.
Or you're talking about the tag match from the pay-per-view.
I
would agree with that too. I would agree with that as well. This was a pretty good TV match. They got a lot of time too.
Yeah, they did. The first 3 matches all together got a lot of time,
and they were better for it.
So yeah, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. Io and Asuka fought outside at some point, but Sane stopped it by hitting Io. Rio, honestly, the overall feel of the match, Rhea dominated early. Kairi came back, took over for a while, and then they kind of traded momentum a few times back and forth. One of the coolest spots happened though when Sane jumped off the top rope and Rhea caught her in midair.
Rhea does a headbutt early on when she goes for the riptide the first time.
Yeah.
That I think she really landed.
So then again though, dude, her headbutts always look like that. She's one of 2 people that actually hits a really good headbutt that looks believable. The other, and he only does it about 70% of the time because sometimes it looks completely fake when he does it too. The other being Drew McIntyre.
The sad thing is, Scott D'Amore's
his Canadian Destroyer actually looks good.
Is good.
I just hate that he does it.
It's actually really good.
It looks good. He doesn't look good doing it, if that makes any sense.
Bubba Ray's on the outside just completely and utterly in shock.
That was the last TNA show I bought.
Yeah. It looks like it was a good one.
And then he showed up at the end of it.
It was Sacrifice.
That was when I tried to get into all of wrestling, all at the same time. And then that happened. And I was like, never mind. I'm out.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'll stick to AEW and WWE. So anyways, At some point, Rhea catches Sane midair, which was super dope, and it didn't look like she struggled at all. Asuka ends up going for a distraction towards the end. Io pulls her off the apron. Rhea hits a headbutt and then a riptide for the win. And then post-match, Asuka tries to do a post-match beatdown, but Rhea stops it. Sane ends up breaking it up with a kendo stick, and Asuka DDTs Rhea on the announce table. Now, that was paraphrasing. Rhea was trying to put Asuka through the announce table.
Yeah, Kairi
Kairi Sane. One of them. She was trying to put somebody through a table. It was Asuka.
She was going to put Asuka through. Kairi rescued Asuka.
Dude, anytime people fight on top of the table, I'm just like, man, I've seen this go so wrong so many times.
Yeah, where it buckles up from underneath him.
But it almost doesn't ever really do that now, so that's good.
No, it's so polite. It just breaks on command.
Patiently, so patiently. We get another backstage moment where Jimmy is talking to Jay about Roman, and Jay's like, maybe they should start looking out for themselves too. And he was implying that tonight he's not going to be able to help Jimmy with the Vision because he's got to worry about his own world title match. However, he didn't get the whole phrase out before Jimmy started going off on him. And Jimmy was like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of big head Bronson Reed." Obviously, Jay does end up helping him, but we'll get there. Match 3, the most pointless match of the night. No, it's not. I'm sorry, match 4 exists. Match 3, the second most pointless match of the night. Bronson Reed versus Jimmy Uso. It actually wasn't a bad match overall. It was just a squash match for the most part.
Jimmy had some offense, but Jimmy was hurt going in with the ribs, and Bronson took advantage.
Right. But he ends up winning with Tsunami pretty quick. Not pretty quickly. It was probably about 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, he hit him with multiple sentons on the ribs and then hit him with the Tsunami.
Well, the what ended up costing Jimmy overall, Jimmy tried to pick Reed's big ass up.
Yeah, and he fell on him. He did the little man, big man spot.
Yeah, that's always fun to see. But I'm hoping that this is eventually going to push post-match. Breaker comes out.
Yeah.
I forgot this even happened. Breaker comes out. They beat down
Jimmy.
And then Jay comes out to try and even the odds, and they do end up evening the odds, but he does take a little bit of splash damage himself.
Yeah, after he waits for Jimmy to eat 2 fucking spears before he comes out to save him.
Right. Well, at
that point, just let it go.
Right. You got a world title match. You weren't necessarily wrong.
Right, and you told him beforehand.
If you want to talk about the next thing.
Oh, do I ever. We get a backstage in Gorilla where Bayley and Lyra are talking. Lyra's like, look, Judgment Day's on their same page all the time. We are not. She's like, I don't know if I can trust you out there because we're all over the place.
I will say Go ahead. As much as I don't like 95% of this match, I did like how it ended.
Yeah.
The rest of it was boring as hell, though.
Anyways, Bayley thinks she's just kidding and joking, and Bayley hits her entrance. And we get the match. The match is
a squash match for the most part. It's boring.
Yeah, so it's messy. It's very messy. It's mostly the Judgment Day getting heat on Bayley for like a long time.
It was both of them.
And then but Bayley in particular.
Because it actually starts off with Lyra, and they hold Lyra back from being able to get a tag in for like a commercial break and a half. And then she finally tags in Bayley, and then Bayley gets her ass beat for another commercial break. This match was long. Sorry, I shouldn't.
No, you're not wrong. Essentially, there's a hope spot where the ring gets cleared. Lyra comes in to help Bayley clear the ring, but she's trying to motivate Bayley, and Bayley is not really getting all that motivated. So Lyra slaps her, and this completely changes Bailey's mood. Bailey goes into crazy Bailey, and then just starts wrecking shop.
She turned into Festus.
She pulls, huh?
She turned into Festus.
Right? The bell rang and he went crazy. Anyways, she beats him up, hits a top rope elbow, and then the rose plant on Roxanne for the win. This made Judgment Day look like a bunch of goofs.
Oh, it's not the only thing that made them look like a bunch of goofs before the night's over. We'll get back to them.
Perez in particular. I'm not feeling Perez there. But yeah, that was pretty much the match. It was fine. It's furthering the Lyra and Bailey thing. I have no idea where they're going.
It's gonna. I like kind of the direction it's going. So it's turning into both sides of Bailey like Lyra for different reasons. I like that Lyra was able to trigger it this time instead of it being just her getting her ass beat that triggers it. But also learning to use it, and I think that's what's going to get her caught up in the long run if they play the story right. Is Bailey's going to realize that she's being used,
and all she wanted was a friend,
right? But I don't think the end of that story is going to happen anytime soon. I'm talking this is going to be a couple months down the line.
That means we have so many more matches between them and the Judgment Day, because who the hell else is there for them to wrestle?
Listen, I just hope it's not the Judgment Day. I'm so tired of the Judgment Day. I just need different people somewhere.
Yeah, they have overexposed them. Raquel is fine.
Roxanne has her moments where she's fine too.
Roxanne's not a bad worker. She's not a bad worker.
I'm tired of.
It's overexposure.
I'm honestly just tired of Judgment Day. Period. It's not even just the women. It's the entire crew.
I agree. They haven't done anything interesting in a while.
Backstage, Paul is singing Seth's song, and Seth says that for the next few months, something special is on the horizon. Braun comes in, and Seth is all like, "I love you, man." That's how I seen it, by the way. Seth is basically a bleeding heart towards the Bronze. He says he feels like them as a group are close to taking the next step. He's on cloud 9, and there's no one that can knock him off the mountaintop. I put LMAO. I bet.
Right. Foreshadowing.
Also backstage, Pierce talks to AJ. Pierce is thanking him for everything and saying he's a legend. Dom shows up to brag and talks about being the only one that seems to defend his show or his titles on this show. And AJ's like, you know what, you're right. So how about next week, JD and Finn defend them tag titles against me and Dragon Lee? And Pierce is like, I like the way Dom thinks. I think you guys are right. As a matter of fact, Dom, you should, do you want to go tell him or do you want us to tell him? He's like, I can't stand you guys. I'll go tell him, but this is messed up.
Yeah, he was bitching because he had to. He's got to fight Rusev next week for the title.
It was a good segment overall. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, he's getting his comeuppance for avoiding everybody for so long, pretending to be hurt.
And then we get an on-ramp segment, which starting off I liked, and honestly, there's even a part towards the end of it that I liked. But Stephanie comes out.
Stephanie Vaquer, I can't even say it. I'm not even going to butcher it.
La Primera. I got you.
There you go. Thank you.
She says she feels blessed. She's the first person in WWE to win 4 different titles in 1 year. Which I didn't know that. It's an interesting stuff.
Yeah, she had the NXT Women's North American. If you're counting the Crown Jewel one and then the women's title.
Yep. She's then interrupted by Roxanne and Raquel, and Roxanne comes off as the whiniest and almost near crying little bitch.
Yeah, she came across very squeaky.
But basically she says that she should be where Stephanie is, and she basically wants a title shot. And then Stephanie Vaquer, I love Stephanie Vaquer, basically looked at her and said, if you've got a problem with me being champ, do something about it. And I was like, yes, give her some attitude. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, then Perez was like, I'm going to do it on my time.
Not your time. And Stephanie Vaquer is like, whenever you're ready, I'm here. So Stephanie looked really strong in the segment. Roxanne did not. Roxanne, she should not have come off as whiny. She needed to listen.
Especially after losing.
Yeah. It was bad. Stephanie was even like, I know you're in a bad mood because you lost, but that's not my problem.
Right?
Anyways, if you want to talk about the main event, which was my match of the night, just so everybody knows.
Well, it's your match of the night. You talk about it.
I don't have much on notes because I don't keep notes on the entire matches anymore. But crowd is heavily behind Punk from the very beginning. Knight and Jay worked together to get Punk out of the match. Eventually, though, he cross-bodies them both, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
The way the match ends, everybody kind of gets their finishers together and tries to throw people out to get the pin, but it ends up being Punk hitting the GTS on Jey Uso, and then he wins.
Yeah, the commentators were really putting over that Jay came out and helped Jimmy earlier, and it's affecting his weight. It's affecting him during this match. They were really putting that over.
Yeah, they were. Post-match, the Vision come out, and they take out Jay and Knight, and then they surround Punk and get in the ring. They take Punk out. Reed then tsunamis Punk after Breaker hits him with the spear. They start to all celebrate, and as they all lift their hands in celebration, Breaker walks over to the corner and kind of looks out at the crowd, and then all of a sudden he turns around and runs and spears Seth. At which point he walks over to Bronson Reed and says, "You need to make a choice. You're either with me or you're not." At which point Reed drags Seth over to the corner, gives him a tsunami, and then Breaker walks over to Heyman and he's like, "You need to make your choice." At which point Heyman raises both of their hands. Now, as you guys can see from my thumbnail, there's no way this wasn't planned. The only thing that they can play off is by saying that Heyman wasn't ready for it to happen as soon as it did.
Yep.
But you can clearly tell by Heyman's face in the thumb that I showed, this was absolutely intentional.
Well, just the way he was talking at the pay-per-view as well.
Right.
Where he's like, no one's to interfere. Because the way Paul talked to Seth a couple weeks ago when he was like, "You want me to be real?" And he kind of broke it down to Seth about how he was losing him and how if he lost the match, he would lose him. Well, even in victory, he lost them.
But at the end of the day, he's a product of his own, or he is the undoing of his own product of his own undoing, whatever, however you want to word it. He made everything about him. Yep. And for those of you that haven't been paying attention to what Braun Breaker has been like for the last 6 years, I don't know if he's been around that long. It's probably been like 4 years.
I don't think it's been that long.
But you can watch highlights of his NXT days, and this is Breaker. He's the man, and he's gonna be the man. And if you're gonna be in his way, you're not gonna be in his way. That's his whole shtick. My problem is I'm confused on the timing because they made it a whole point, which I had said before. I think it would be interesting if Cody lost or Cody won, and then they jumped him out of the group. I find it weird to have him win against Cody and then get jumped out of the group. Which I'm not against. We've been talking about it's going to happen for a long time. I just feel like they stepped on the gas out of kind of nowhere. And it falls down into the two things that I hate that Triple H seems to do. He's really good at... I won't say good. He's really bad about either drawing a storyline out for way too long, or cutting it off really short because he's got other things he just wants to hurry up and get to.
Right.
We'll obviously see how this goes. Obviously, Breaker has his eyes on the world title now, but the problem is Punk's next in line. And then where I'm curious about is I am relatively sure Seth is going to lose to Punk. I feel like this has always been the goal long term. However, would it not make more sense for Breaker to win the title from Seth?
It depends if you're in the business of making new stars or if you're just in the business to get baby faces over.
Right. So I don't know what they're doing now. What we do get out of all this? So Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, who I follow on Twitter because he's hilarious, even if I can't stand him as a human being, he only posts about wrestling, which is why I actually pay attention to what he says. And you get gems like this. So let me break it down for all y'all dummies that don't understand what just happened. You take Seth Rollins, the so-called visionary, and you put him in a ring with Braun Breaker, a genetic freak. But what Seth didn't calculate was the betrayal quotient. Now let's do the math. Seth thought he had a 100% chance of survival with Braun at his side. But what he didn't know is Braun's got 66 and 2/3% loyalty when you factor in family bloodlines. And the other 33 and 1/3% is pure rage. So now Seth's sitting there asking why. I'll tell you why. Because Braun Breaker's not here to play backup. He's here to take over. He's the dog-faced destroyer, and now the leash is off. So Seth, you took your eye off the math. You had a 141 and 2/3% chance of getting betrayed, and now you're just another statistic in a Steiner equation of pain.
Lean into the gimmick.
This isn't the first time in the last 2 to 3 months he's done a Steiner math gimmick. He had one in July. So about 3 months ago. That was really similar and was also about Braun. So that's the dumb shit that I run across. So, yeah, I don't know what WWE is doing overall. Not that any of us
I don't
ever
either
do.
because the next big show is War Games.
The only thing I can think of, and for whatever reason, and this will be 2 War Games in a row where it happens, the face team is going to be comprised of people that don't get along. Which is exactly what happened at last year's War Games. Except this time, I could absolutely see it being like Reigns, Seth, Punk, and a couple others versus who's left of the Vision, Brock Lesnar, and whoever else they decided to throw together in that match. I don't want to see it again. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I at this point wish they would. I still wish they would just go back to the old school way of doing Survivor Series, and then if a feud calls for it, then do the War Games match. But if a feud doesn't call for it, just do a regular Survivor Series match. Listen, Survivor Series was never the most exciting of pay-per-views. It was never meant to be.
Nope.
But there's nothing wrong with the Survivor Series style of match unless you're John Cena and you beat an entire team on your own. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's the... yeah, that's something entirely different.
But yeah, so overall, like I said, Raw was, I thought, passable. It was not as good as last week's Raw. But as far as a Raw after a pay-per-view, PLE, whatever. Listen, guys, I'm old. Everything's a pay-per-view. I think it was passable. I think they did an all right. The crowd, I think they did an all right job. The crowd wasn't as annoying as they have been the last couple times they were on TV.
Yeah, I liked the show. It was fine. The first part of the show in particular I thought was really good, but it hit that women's tag match and it just kind of went downhill after that.
And again, I've gotten to the point where I'm even starting to kind of enjoy Lyra. I don't think she's a bad wrestler. She hit some really nice like spinning wheel kicks and stuff during the match. Who is being what's cat being loud? I thought one of the kids were eating super loudly in there. One of the fur kids. But no, I don't. My problem with Bayley, Lyra, Roxanne, and Raquel is they're all 4 involved in the same match week in and week out.
Yeah, it's
the same
overexposure.
It's the same problem I have with the women's roster in almost its entirety over in AEW because they're all stuck in the same matches week in and week out.
Same 6-woman tag every week on Collision, like clockwork.
Guys, like we need to evolve something here. Get some new. In fact, forget the tag team titles. Get Sol Ruka and Zarya in here for them to fight with or something. Like, just something. Anyways, that's all I got. You got anything to share, good sir?
No. We'll probably do Dynamite, and it's a 3-hour Dynamite on Wednesday.
Yep.
Probably gonna need to do Wrestle Dream predictions on that show as well.
We will. Gonna be a long night. I kind of wish they were in Australia.
So you could get up and watch it from 8 a.m. I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of like the really early starts.
Listen, I like being able to wake up and just jump right into watching it. It doesn't bleed over into me working, so I can actually pay attention for the whole time. It was nice.
Right. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy watching pay-per-views live because I like to tweet as things happen. You can't do that if you're not watching it live, because then you just look stupid.
That's a whole different ball game, right?
But no, I enjoyed both. I enjoyed SmackDown and Raw for sure being early. I managed with the pay-per-view. Obviously, I just woke up and watched it. It is what it is. The only problem is it's so hard. Like, I'm lucky enough that I just woke up and went right into watching it. Like you said, you got a part of it spoiled for you. So I don't. I just. That's the downfall to it being early. But all right, guys, that's gonna do it. Thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Deuces.
Later.